Tap, tap, tap. Mia woke up. The room was dark. Something was at her window. Tap, tap, tap. Mia sat up in bed. She was scared. Her heart beat fast. She listened carefully. The tapping came again. It was coming from the window. Mia slowly got out of bed. She tiptoed to the window. What was out there? She had to be brave. Moonlight streamed through the window. Mia peeked outside. She saw something move. It was Whiskers, her cat. Whiskers was acting strange. He stared at Mia with wide, knowing eyes. He meowed softly, then turned back to the window. A low voice made Mia jump. "He knows," it whispered. The voice seemed to come from the shadows outside. Mia trembled. Who was that, and what did Whiskers know? She had to find out. Fear tightened its grip on Mia. Her heart pounded like a drum. She peered into the darkness, searching for the source of the voice. The shadows danced in the moonlight, playing tricks on her eyes. Every rustle of leaves sent shivers down her spine. Taking a deep breath, Mia decided to be brave. She wouldn't let fear control her. There had to be an explanation. Whiskers rubbed against her leg, his purr a low rumble. He seemed to understand her fear, but also seemed to urge her onward. Mia scanned her room, searching for something, anything out of place. Her eyes fell upon a book on her desk, left open as if someone had been reading it. She walked over, her bare feet silent against the wooden floor. It was her diary. Someone had been reading her diary. The whisper echoed in her mind. He knows. Who was he? And what had he read in her diary? The mystery deepened, pulling Mia further into its web. She had to unravel this enigma, but how? Mia crept through the quiet house, her senses on high alert. Every creak and groan sent her pulse racing. She felt like she was being watched. She reached the living room. Moonlight spilled through the window, illuminating a shadowy figure standing in the backyard. The figure turned, and Mia gasped. It was her neighbour, Mr. Smith. What was he doing here at this hour? Mr. Smith had always been a bit strange, keeping to himself. Could he be involved in this? Section 6. The truth revealed. Mia watched as Mr. Smith bent down, seemingly tending to something on the ground. Curiosity outweighed her fear, and she cautiously made her way outside. As she approached, Mr. Smith looked up, his face etched with concern. He gestured towards something behind her. I think your cat has something important to tell you. Mia turned and saw Whiskers nudging a small, furry creature with his nose. It was a baby rabbit, injured and scared. The whispering, the tapping, it all made sense now. Whiskers hadn't been trying to scare her. He'd been trying to get her help. Section 7. A grumbling guardian. Relief washed over Mia, chasing away the fear. Of course. Whiskers, with his big heart, had found the injured rabbit and knew she could help. Mr. Smith, an animal lover himself, had seen Whiskers' attempts to get her attention and decided to lend a paw. He had been the whisperer, trying to guide her. He's a good cat, you know, Mr. Smith said, his voice gruff but kind. A bit of a grump, but a good heart. Mia smiled, scooping up the little rabbit. He's the best. Section 8. Peace restored. With the mystery solved and the rabbit safe, Mia felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She thanked Mr. Smith for his help and promised to check on the rabbit in the morning. Back in her room, Mia tucked the rabbit into a makeshift bed. Whiskers watched with a smug look on his face, as if to say, I told you so. Mia chuckled. Leave it to Whiskers to turn a midnight scare into a rescue mission. He might not speak human, but he had a way of making himself understood. She knew she had a lot to learn from her feline friend. Section 9. Whiskers' secret. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the curtains, Mia drifted off to sleep. The sound of Whiskers' purr, a comforting lullaby. The events of the night swirled in her mind, a strange and wonderful dream. From that night on, Mia knew that Whiskers held a world of secrets beneath his furry exterior. He was more than just a pet. He was a guardian, a confidant, a keeper of mysteries only he could unravel. And as she watched him bask in the morning light, Mia couldn't help but wonder what other adventures awaited them. After all, life with Whiskers was never boring, and she wouldn't have it any other way.